When buildings come down, the height of the rubble pile that remains is about 12% of the building's original height. The Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York stood 110 stories tall. Given what is known about rubble piles, we would expect the pile for each tower to be about 12% of its original height. 12% of 110 stories equals 13.2 stories.
It's absolutely...
Look at that. That's all that's left.
Do you know whether that's the South Tower or the North Tower?
That's the South Tower.
And you saw no sign of life in here whatsoever?
No, I went all the way right there. Like, I don't know if they edited it out yet, but there's a big hole going down to the ground. There's nobody. Yeah, they said 200 people died. I thought the fireman I saw too said 200 people died already.
And this wall here, this is from part of the tower itself?
Yeah, that's the South Tower, the lobby. And it's all the smoke, and there's still fire going on in there right now. See, that's the concourse below. That's going down like 20 feet or so. But that's the part that's crazy. It's just that's all that's left.
Did you hear anything while you were in there?
Just like cracklings and pops and stuff. See, that's the guy who's been looking for his friends, and he didn't find anybody either.
This is Ground Zero on 9/11. Where did all that building material disappear to? The rubble pile is less than 3 stories high. Where has what should have been here gone? But what could have caused 2 buildings made of steel and concrete to turn into a dust so fine that it became suspended in mid-air to then be carried away by the winds? Certainly not ordinary office fires, whether or not they were started by burning jet fuel. Even a conventional controlled demolition does not turn most of a building into fine dust. So the question is, what on earth happened to the Twin Towers on 9/11? This dust is the missing material from Ground Zero.
So this video is a call to all 911 truthers. You have been misled for over a decade. I'm going to focus you in on the only argument that you need to win a debate about 911. It's called Building 6. It was a 10-story building. It's 500,000 square feet. That's a lot, okay? It's missing the interior of the building. It's not crushed. It's not in the basement or something like that. It's actually missing. It's like somebody scooped it out. Now, think about this building. It's missing its core. That's your smoking gun. You don't need nothing else. Nobody's going to be able to argue with this. They can't say, oh, there's a nuke went off in that building, because the core of the building is actually missing, but the exterior is intact. They're not going to be able to get away with saying, oh, it's just crushed or it's gone into the basement, because it's not in the basement and it never got crushed. Everybody knows this. It's missing. Everybody ignored it. And it's not going to be ignored no more. Building 6 is the end-all to the conversations and the debate. Nobody can argue with you after that. You forced them. You will force them to reevaluate everything that they ever thought. Everything that they ever said becomes obsolete when you look at Building 6. There is no logical explanation for it outside of a laser. And because of that, you have to look at Dr. Judy Woods, who has 3 degrees and 35 years experience in this field and knows what happened and has a 500-page book that breaks it down. Building 6 is your smoking gun, not Building 7, not the Twin Towers, not even Shanksville, not even the Pentagon. Building 6 is the paradigm breaker.
What you're seeing are high shots. Now, here we're going to show you a videotape of the collapse itself.
Describe that.
Now we go to videotape, the collapse of this building.
It's amazing.
Amazing, incredible, pick your word. For the 3rd time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed.
World Trade Center Building Number 7, also known as the Solomon Brothers Building, hundreds of yards away from the Twin Towers, collapsed at 5:20 in the evening on 9/11 and received very little coverage. This building was a 47-story steel-reinforced concrete structure, which collapsed into its own footprint in 6.5 seconds, 7 hours after the Twin Towers collapsed. It became the 3rd building in history to fall due to fires, next to the first 2, which were the towers. However, it was never struck by a plane. It also was not significantly damaged by the falling towers, according to the FEMA and NIST reports.